He's the head of the biggest US fuel pipeline, who paid hackers a roughly $4.5 million ransom to retrieve crucial data they'd stolen, then encrypted.
I made the decision to pay, and I made the decision to keep the information about the payment as confidential as possible. It was the hardest decision I've made in my 39 years in the energy industry, and I know how critical our pipeline is to the country, and I put the interests of the country first.
Joseph Blunt paid up against the advice of US authorities, who've since retrieved most of the ransom from Russia-based hackers blamed for the attack. But under questioning from lawmakers, there was an important revelation.
Prior to the attack, did your company require all employees to use multi-factor authentication?
Ranking Member Porton, in the case of this particular legacy VPN, it did only have single-factor authentication. It was a complicated password, so I want to be clear on that. It was not a Colonial 123 type password.
Complicated or not, security experts say that kind of single-factor authentication is a no-no.
Even on my home desktop computer, which only my family and I use a two-factor authentication to access something as relatively low risk as email. And I don't even have a fraction of the $3 billion or so in assets held by Colonial Pipeline.
Last month's hack shut down the Colonial Pipeline, sending panicked drivers to gas stations, some of which ran dry. Like Colonial, the world's biggest meatpacking company, JBS, is operational once again after a similar extortion attack on its plants in the US and Australia. For experts, it's a wake-up call for all companies requiring online security. Owen, Fairclough, CGTN, Washington.